Okay guys, I got the crankshaft aligned with the first balance gear and the camshaft. Now it is kind of a little bit of a pain. You gotta read the book good and do it just like they say, or you'll never get it right. This is probably one reason everyone just leaves out the balance gears, but I'm putting them in. I don't want this thing to shake so much. So what you gotta do is you start with your bottom, your lower, or your upper. Is this called the upper or the lower? This is the upper balance gear, the one that's in here. And what you want to do is, I'm going to lower this down, because I'm going to need both hands to show you guys. I'm going to lower the tripod down. I'm going to look in here just like I was looking. And I can shorten this thing. Alright, and we'll probably have to go up a little bit. Yeah, let's go up a little bit. First of all, get some white out and mark all of your timing marks. Alright, let's see if we can look in here, if you guys can see my white out marks. Okay, there you go. You can see them pretty good. So what you want to do is, I want to make sure you guys can see this, because this can be a real pain to do if you don't know what you're doing. You can see the whiteout mark on the balance gear there. That's the primary timing mark. And then you have your primary timing mark on your crankshaft. Now I'll show you on here if I can do this. Okay. Here's your primary timing mark on your crankshaft. You see I got it marked right here. Also, you got to mark the tooth, the outside of the tooth here. I marked the tooth with whiteout. Now what you got to do is you got to get right down there and look. And that timing mark, you got to align that with the outside tooth, and that would be your mark. And then you're supposed to count 5 from this. So you start here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the fifth mark, the fifth tooth right here, you're supposed to put some weight out on it so you can see it. That's your, was it your secondary timing or something? I think is what the book calls it. But anyway, right now we're just interested in getting the balance gear in and timed. So what we're going to do is we're going to rotate this back. And like I said, if you look in here, you want to align your primary timing mark with your balance gear on the bottom. So you can see I got it dead on. It might take you guys a couple tries. What you're supposed to do is just barely mesh the crankshaft with the balance gear, and that can be done because there is quite a bit of an offset between the camshaft gear and the balance gear. So you can mesh the crankshaft with the first balance gear by like a 1/16. That was what actually the book tells you to do. Right here, mesh about 1/16 with the center ring of the balance gear. So get all your timing marks marked out. Like I said, this book, you really need to get this book to do the balance gears. Unless you're going to leave them out, then all you got to do is align the crankshaft dot with the camshaft dot, and that's it. But like I said, I'm putting the balance gears back in. This thing's got enough problems. I don't need to be shaking everywhere. And this book explains everything right in it. And I'm just kind of giving you guys the brief way. So if you are got to do balance gears, you should definitely download this. You can get this free online. Just download it and just go to this section 12 on reassembling the engine. But like I said, I'm going to explain what I can to you guys. Some of you probably won't understand it. I barely understood it until I actually read the book. I still got to put in the secondary gear, which I still don't know what to do there. But like I said, you got to align the primary timing mark on the crankshaft with the primary timing point on the balance gear. That's what you got to do first. And then you can turn your crankshaft and align it with your camshaft, because it's actually meshed enough And so now you gotta look on, whoops, on this side. So we're gonna go to the other side with the cam. And we're gonna look in there. And you guys, this is pretty tough to see in there. You gotta get in just the right spot. Okay, that's not too bad. What you guys are gonna be looking for is you're gonna look for the primary crankshaft timing mark, and then there should be a little dot, which is what this is right here. If you guys can see that dot, you can see that dot. I think it's right here. That's the dot. That's the timing mark for the cam. And what you gotta do there is you gotta align those two. And now once you get those two in, you have all this is right. Another thing, your piston should be top dead center at this moment when you have your crank and your cam aligned. So right now we're on overlap on the valves, which means both valves are at the point where they're going to be overlapping each other to open and close. So as you rotate this, one valve's opening, the other valve is opening, all in the same spot, and you should be top dead center for your piston. So now we're going to do the secondary balance gear. So I'm going to put in my spacer and my washer. Well, actually, I gotta rotate this so I can even put this in here. And it's going to be fun trying to get the lock ring on this one. I can figure that out right now. So, okay, that's in. And now we're going to look in the book, see what we need to do. I'm going to raise this up. If it wants to go here, oh, I have the thing going. And the phone's going everywhere here. This tripod's not the best. Alright, so we got the book here. So I got the primary with the crank shaft with timing right camshaft. Position the crankshaft so it is about 15 degrees past BDC. BDC is bottom dead center. I think something like that. Maybe, sort of. So we're going to be this way. Okay. And I think what we do now is we take our 5th tooth and then just align it with the primary. Well, let's see what happens. Install 3/8 spacer and then 1/10,000 shim. Align the secondary timing mark on the lower balance gear with the secondary timing mark on the crankshaft. Alright, so now our secondary timing mark on our crankshaft is the 5-tooth count that we already did. So now we got a 5-tooth count, which is be this one here. So that should be down here, I think. I gotta hold on. This is a lot of new stuff for me, at least for doing the balance gears. Alright, position the crankshaft so it is 15 degrees past BDC. So that should be bottom dead center. So that should be like here. That's bottom. Top dead center is right here. So we're just going to go this way then. Yeah, so this would be right. Right? Yes? No? Anyone know? We should be like here. We should be 15 degrees past. That would be here, right? I mean, that marks straight up and down. Align the secondary timing mark on the lower balance here with the secondary timing mark on the crankshaft. Alright, so we gotta do that. So now we're gonna rotate you. Let me see if I can get this before I show you guys. Secondary. That's first. There's a secondary timing mark. But with what? You gotta rotate it again or something, maybe. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do with the secondary timing mark on the bottom balance gear. Secondary timing mark on the crankshaft. secondary timing mark on the lower. Oh. Whoops, I read that wrong. All right. Because I got this upside down, I got confused here. The lower balance gear is actually the upper balance gear here because I had the block completely upside down. So now we got to align. Okay, so here's our gear. All right, so what do we got to do here? We got to align the primary position, crankshaft. Yep. Align the secondary timing mark on the crankshaft. So our secondary mark is this one. This is the 5-tooth count from our primary timing mark. So we, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teeth. So we're going to position this with the primary or the secondary. Install the lower balance gear on the stub shaft. If properly timed, the primary timing mark on the crankshaft will be aligned with the secondary. Okay, so we got to put secondary to secondary. So this is the secondary timing mark on the balance gear. This is your primary and this is your secondary. So now what we're going to do is we're going to align the secondary mark, which is up here, to that tooth right there. So that's what we're trying to do here. Okay, so now I got it. So now we got to rotate this. So how the hell are you going to get this? That's what they say to do, is put this in after. Can you even do this though? Let's see. Must be a little cocked here. Okay, here we go. We got that. We got it in. I don't know if it's lined up. Alright, hold on. Let me do some checking here. It should be close. I mean, we should be like almost there. So now if you rotate it, if properly timed, the primary timing mark on the crankshaft will now be aligned with the secondary timing mark on the lower balance gear. Okay, so the primary, okay, let me read this again. This is, like I said, this is pretty, you gotta be pretty accurate with this. Okay, yeah. Line secondary timing mark on the lower balance gear, the secondary timing mark. Install the lower balance gear on the stub shaft. Okay, primary timing mark on the crankshaft will be in line with the secondary timing mark on the lower balance gear. 12.9 and 12.17. 12.9. 10, 9, 17, 16, 12, 17. So we want the secondary to be aligned with the primary on the crank. Really? Primary crank mark aligned with the secondary timing mark on the balance gear. So primary with the secondary. I don't think so. No, we're way off. We're off by like 3 or 4 teeth. So now we got to go pull this off. We're going to put this shim in after because we cannot lose that. So if we're off, we got to go. This is tight too right here. I mean, you have like no room to screw up. Or very little room to screw up. Okay, see what we got now. Alright, we're off a tooth still. Okay. Like I said, this is not the easiest. Okay, what do we got now? Primary with the secondary. We are, I think we got that. Nope, we're off a tooth the other way now. You see what, guys, I'm trying to do? I'm trying to get this primary on the crank with the secondary. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do here. But the problem is you're trying to mesh the gear on the thickest part of the gear. So you actually got to start the gear mesh first and then slide it on. There we go. Okay. You guys can see that, I think. Alright, we're good now. Okay, so that's good. So what you guys got to do, now we got to put a snap ring on, but I'll do that off camera. Might take me a few minutes. We got to take this is the primary mark right here. You can see my finger. That's the secondary mark. We got to align those two according to what the book says. Install the lower balance gear and stub shaft properly timed. The primary timing mark on the crankshaft will be aligned with the secondary. Okay, and then it says install. And then you can check it. Primary mark on crankshaft should align with the primary timing mark on the upper balance gear. Okay. Alright, so let's spin this around and see if that actually does happen. Try not to get anything to bind up in here too. Or lose a shim or something. Okay, secondary lines up nice. Oh, is it the upper or the lower? Oh, it's the upper. Okay, see, it's like I said, it's confusing when you get the block upside down. Primary, yeah. Okay, so we're all set here. All right. So I'm sure you guys are gonna have questions on doing this. Like I said, download the manual and read about it if you're gonna be using these balance gears, because it's gonna take you a few minutes to figure out how to do it. And like I said, it took me quite a bit just to do it right there. And I still got to put the snap ring on, but this shouldn't be too hard, I hope. There's a little snap ring, got some crud on it. But yeah, put the snap ring on and we should be all good. I'm going to spin this over by hand quite a few times, make sure everything looks good. I'm going to be putting the piston in, and I'll put that in and then I'll do another video because everyone kind of knows how to do the pistons. But see you in the next video.